All right, so we have Toronto's very own Benzito in the building. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Nah, I appreciate you sliding through. You know what I mean? Appreciate your music, and I feel like this is a good opportunity to kind of tell your story and get into your music.
Most def. I'll give you a little background about me. I was born, raised right here in Toronto. I started doing music at a young age, playing instruments. I was in choirs in school, things like that. As I got older, I actually got into DJing. I was DJing for a bit, and then I dibbled and dabbled into producing beats. So I was doing that for a while, and then I started to record on the beats, and that's actually how I got into recording. Because I felt like if I had vocals to make the beat to, it was actually easier for me to make a beat. So then I got into recording music, and now I'm here. I'm making music, but I'm not making beats anymore. I'm just being a recording artist.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. So let's kind of start from the rip. In regards to your name, Benzito, how did you come about that name?
It was kind of given to me by friends and family. Everyone would call me Benz. It's just like a nickname for me. And then I was listening to some old school Tupac, Big Pun songs, and they're like riding in the Benzito. So they refer to a Mercedes Benz because Mercedes is my actual name. So I'm just like, Benzito sounds pretty fire. And someone actually called me Benzito. And I wanted to make sure there was like gonna be a meaning behind it. So then once I heard that song, I was like, perfect, I'm going with Benzito.
All right. And in regards to like Benzito, is this a name that you had prior to music, or this came about when you were looking for a name?
It was more so Benz. People would say Benz. They would call me Benz. Benzito came like after when I established like, okay, I'm doing music and I need an MC name. Which one am I gonna go with? Then I picked Benzito.
All right. So, let's kind of start from, the inspiration and how like, your creativity started. Was it from church? Was it from a family member? Where does this creativity come from?
More so when it came to rapping, definitely when I was hanging out with my friends, we'd be just drinking, smoking, chilling. I would always freestyle. And funny story is, they would record me on their sound recorder and use me as their ringtones because they just loved the freestyle. They're like, you got to record this one day. But I never understood at the time, like, how to record, like go to a studio, buy the beat. I never understood all of that. So I used to always just record music on my computer or with my phone with the sound recorder. And all my friends used to just bump my tracks like that. It wasn't the best quality, but they were still bumping it. And then, yeah, so now I'm definitely taking it to another level. We're doing things more professionally now, and we're hitting up the studios. No more recording on the phone sound recorders.
Nah, we definitely see the growth in your sound and stuff like that. So, we appreciate those friends that, helped you from that back then. And I'm sure they're proud of you now that you're doing music, you're traveling and you're making moves. I'm sure they're proud of you.
Most def.
So what part of the city are you from?
I'm kind of like central. I'm like not too far from downtown. I grew up in an Italian area actually. It wasn't really too urban, but just being like living in Toronto, I always had a mixed group of friends. I had friends that were good and I had friends that were bad. So it's like culture wise, I just like definitely, I'm a city kid at heart. Like I have the roots of like everything about the city. I have the street roots and I have the book roots. Like,
Nah, that's dope. So, I was kind of looking into you and like we were having a conversation prior to the cameras being on. And, you've been doing music since 2011. And, we're in 2022. 2019 is when you actually started taking things serious. So explain that switch from 2011, taking it as a hobby, and then 2019, you taking it serious to now. Break that down for us.
Definitely. I would have to say it was people around me. People around me. I started to like meet producers, meet engineers, meet people who were actually in the field and in the industry, and that wanted to take me serious. So they're like, come to my studio, let's record, let's do that. So I think that's when it kind of switched from a hobby to a career. Plus, like, money gets involved. So it's like starts as an investment, yeah, it definitely was the people around me that really pushed me to even be an artist today. Like I was just doing this for fun. Music, I love music. I'll always do music with or without the cameras on, but people around me always pushed me to be that superstar, be that artist.
So like back in 2012, when you were making music as a hobby, like how was your process? Like were you just using random YouTube beats? Were you freestyling on wonky equipment? Like kind of walk us through that.
So my setup was I was getting beats off of datpiff.com. They had instruments, but they were actually industry instrumentals. So I was going on like Soulja Boy instrumentals. I was going on Drake instrumentals. I was getting those beats from there. And then I was using Mixcraft to mix and master. So like I've been kind of mixing, mastering. I have a little bit of skills in that since then because I always used to record my own songs. So yeah, that was like my setup. I had a mic, USB mic, and that was it. I don't think I even had studio monitor speakers. I didn't have the whole setup. Just laptop and mic.
So what's the setup like now, like a couple years later?
It's a lot better now. Now we got like, we got acoustic sound panels. We got the proper mic, we upgraded the computer. We got a Mac now, you know what I mean? Yeah, just overall we got studio monitor speakers, the right speakers for mixing and mastering. Yeah. It's a good setup now.
The setup is sounding lovely.
We're using
still.
Logic Pro.
Okay. That's dope. I love to see like artists start from a specific point and kind of grow as their music grows. So that's pretty dope. In regards to like inspiration, I do know that, you've referenced Missy Elliott and Lil Wayne as inspirations for you. So kind of explain or describe how they influenced you coming up.
Missy Elliott, definitely her just being herself. I always felt like when she was making music at that time, she wasn't like anybody else. She was just so, people would say weird. Like her videos were just like, they were not normal. And I liked that about her because I feel like that's how I am now with my music. I treat it like that. Like I just have my own, I try to stay in my own lane. And yeah, just like, I don't want to sound like anybody else. I don't want to look like anybody else. I just want to be myself. So same thing with Lil Wayne, like the way he was using word plays, like no one was really using metaphors like how he was using it back then. Like he just had his own lane. So I think that's why these people were like, I looked up to these people because they had their own lane. And yeah.
That's dope. Apart from them, is there anyone else that you kind of pulled from in regards to inspiration?
As of now, most recently, definitely Kanye. Kanye West, he's one of them.
It's different.
Yeah, he's different. Like a lot of people want to label him crazy and things like that, but I see the message behind the things he says, and it's not him being crazy. It's like I understand it. So I think like, yeah, he's just my inspiration. I could go on and on about Kanye, but he's my inspiration, definitely.
Kanye does his thing still. Kanye does his thing. What do you think about, like, people say he's arrogant. Do you think he's arrogant or is he just confident?
No, I don't think he's arrogant. Like, when they keep on showing him pushing paparazzi, slapping paparazzi, you have to understand these guys are just trying to grocery shop or just trying to live their everyday life too. Not all the time, we want cameras up in our face. Like, as of right now, this is willing, I want to be here. But imagine like not wanting this camera in your face when you just want to hang out with somebody or just go for ice cream or something like, and they're not respecting that boundary or that space. So like, yeah, I don't think he's arrogant at all. And he knows he's cocky and he knows why. Like, I think like even the whole CLB and the Donda, when they're comparing it and stuff, like Donda was its own. Like it was so creative at like, CLB was just like, oh, whatever. Like, but there was so much creativity to Donda compared to CLB. And I think that's why I'm grasping more to him, just like Lil Wayne and Missy Elliott, because they're just different. They're in their own lane.
Yo, since we're on the topic of like respecting space, what do you think about the Chris Rock and Will Smith situation?
Um, I have mixed emotions. I feel like it was staged. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, who really watches TV and watches the Oscars, and then ever since they tweeted that, you got everybody want to watch it now. Like, and then a part of me doesn't think it's fake because in Will Smith's speech, he did speak about like how he has to pretend to be happy half the time for the cameras in this industry is just so messed up. And like I understand like what he's saying. So at the same time, I feel like maybe that was him, like he had enough. And then I think he got pulled out of he can't go to no more Oscars or something like that. So yeah, like he knew if he did that, that was it for him.
Facts.
And I think he was ready. So at the same time, yeah, that's why I got mixed emotions. Yeah. I think it's fake, but I think it's real at the same time.
Yeah, it's a wonky situation, especially due to the fact that he's an actor and the way the whole situation looks. It's just like you don't know if it's real or fake because the industry can be fake sometimes.
Exactly, and it could be a win-win situation for both. It could like maybe this is Will's way of getting out, and this is the way of Oscar also getting more viewers. So maybe it was like a win-win situation for both of them. You know?
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So it was fake but real at the same time.
That's a fact. You know, you did say that, you know, you are very creative. You do play, you know, you played instruments back in the day. I believe you still play instruments. And I do know that, you know, you're kind of creative with like art and stuff like that too. So kind of break that down and explain how that influences your music today.
I think like just me being able to play instruments, I think it gives me an ear for music. I think like when people hear my music, they just love the beat choices that I pick because it's like I just have that ear. It's like something that I would make. Like I'm not gonna hop on a beat if I'm not feeling it because that's like how I actually even record because everything is freestyle. So if I'm not feeling the beat, the words are not gonna come to me. The beat brings the words out to me. So because I have those producing skills too as well, I feel like once I'm feeling the beat, it just helps the whole process like move a lot smoother. I do draw and stuff like that, but I don't do it a lot. It's more so just like leisure fun time.
All right. So does that mean like when you're kind of choosing a cover art or like, you know what I mean, you're coming up with a album cover, do you have input in that or do you just leave that up to the graphic designer to do his thing?
I give them some ideas, like what the theme of the song is and like some ideas about the song so they could kind of put their creative input to as well. I am starting to look into, more art pieces wise, because I want to also have them as like art pieces in my house. So I am actually talking to some artists and trying to come up with some covers for my next project.
Dope.
But I'm staying away from the drawing as of right now. Maybe I'll get into it again, and maybe I'll definitely design my own cover one day for
sure. You know, we kind of brushed on the topic of beats. You know, there's a lot of sample music that's going on. I feel like that's the wave right now. So what are your thoughts in regards to that? Do you fuck with it? Are you not really feeling it? What's your thoughts in regards to that?
Well, samples, like, I remember, like, the producers, like, when I was growing up, the producers that I were around, they were all old heads. And they were always talking about samples. They had vinyls, and they were always doing all this sampling thing. I just never understood it, never got it. But now I get it, and I always thought that, like, to have a sample, you would have to clear it. Like, it's gonna cost money. Like, I can't just have Aaliyah's vocals in my song. But I didn't know you could have up to a certain amount of bars before it's like copyright. So I definitely hear a lot of old school songs in new school music. It's definitely, as you said, a lot of people are using samples in music now. So it's definitely something I wanna get into because, you know, I do listen to old school I still have like those old school hits that I remember that I would love to like bring into the music now. So maybe even use like a Missy Elliott sample, you know, I can't stand the rain, you know, like
Nah, that'd be
something,
great.
you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you feel like using a sample is a cheat code?
No, because I think it sets the bar high. Like you can't just use someone's sample and then you're gonna come on the song whack. Like I feel like if you're using a sample, it's like you gotta come hard. Like you gotta pay the respect to the artist at the
I
same
agree.
time and come like hard, like a new sauce, like the 22,
Facts.
2022 wave.
Facts. No, I totally agree with that. So let's talk about Moonchild. That was the project that you recently put out. Walk me through, the creative process, where you recorded that, how you sequenced it, the inspiration, like break that down.
Well, Moonchild, how I even came up with the name, I always check my horoscopes daily. I'm a Cancer, so every time I check my horoscope, there I was like Moonchild, Moonchild, Moonchild. And I never understood what they meant by Moonchild, so I Googled it. And it's anyone who's born under the zodiac sign of a Cancer, or anybody who, how should I say this? Let's just say, okay, anybody who's born under the zodiac sign Cancer, and Cancers are the closest zodiac sign to the moon. So the moon goes through phases. And because we have this relationship like with the moon, that's why Cancers are known to be emotional, moody, and sensitive. These things is because when it's a full moon, a half a moon, a quarter moon, we're that too. So I felt like in my music, you kind of get that vibe. It's like I have my turn up stuff, I have my R&B stuff. It's kind of like mixed emotions. Excuse me, mixed emotions. So I'm like, Moonchild, that's who I am.
Dope. And where was the inspiration regarding, this specific project? Like, where were you pulling your inspiration for it?
I felt like it was just needed. I was putting out a lot of singles, and I felt like it was time for like an album, something that my fans could like drive their car and listen to something for an hour, compared to just listening to a few singles. So I'm like, you know what? It's time for an album. It's time for people to kind of like get to know me a little bit more. And that was my inspiration for the album, really.
Did you experience any difficulties putting this out?
Not putting it out, but I just had to have patience because when I create a song, I get really excited. Then like when you listen to it a week later, you kind of start hearing little stuff that could do a little tweaking. So this album was already ready, but I gave it a little bit of time. I retweaked a lot of stuff and wanted to be like, on point. So that was like my only challenge with it, was just like, just have patience. You don't gotta rush to put it out this day. Let's just, make it good, make it perfect.
Dope. So, for someone that hasn't heard your music before, how would you describe your sound?
I heard like I just don't sound like anybody. To be honest, it's hard to compare. Like I don't sound like Drake. I don't sound like Travis Scott. I don't sound like these people. I kind of just sound like my own self, to be honest. Like I just make good vibes music. Like it's always about like either just getting money, having fun, or like, it's supposed to just give you good vibes, uplifting.
And, in regards to your sexuality, like, are you into girls only, or you go both ways?
Full lesbian.
All right,
Yeah,
full lesbian.
Yeah.
And, in regards to that community, like, how do they show you love? Like, are they supportive?
Most deaf. Yeah, like I performed for Pride, back in like 2015, I think it was. Yeah, I performed for Pride. I did like 3 stages. I did the TD stage, which is Blockorama, and then I did another stage. Even Blocka, the Don, the rapper from Toronto, I think me and him had a song. So he came out and performed and stuff like that. Like everyone's just very open and just everyone's cool with it. Like They show me love.
That's dope.
The LGBT side and the straight side, everyone shows me love, both sides.
That's dope. That's dope. It's dope to see people being open-minded and showing you that love and support. So when did you realize that, you're not into guys and you just want to fuck with the girl them, the girl them
Definitely
show
a
you the
young
love?
age. Like, I think I told my mom when I was like 9, or like, yeah, I didn't understand exactly what I was, but I was like, I like girls. And she's like, huh? I'm like, I like girls. She's like, she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then, so like, at least I said it from a young age. So it's like, it's not like, I'm older now and people are like, oh, you're just going through a phase.
Yeah.
No, it's like, I've been like this since I was young.
From
Like,
time.
yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So let's talk about, traveling. Like, you know what I mean? I know you're in the UK recently. You're looking lovely. You're bouncing around, making your moves. You know what I mean? Everything looking lavish. So explain that trip because, I feel like most Toronto artists don't travel and, you're one of the few that, move around and network. So explain that whole UK vibe.
Okay, well, how that happened was I released a song called Journey. I knew I wanted to shoot a video for that song, but I wanted that like Europe feel. I wanted that travel feel. I wanted that like world feel. And I was gonna go to Amsterdam originally, but then I started networking with some people out in the UK, and it just made more sense to go over there. So I went over there originally first to shoot my video for Journey, which I did. And then everyone was super excited. Like everyone was loving it. When I dropped the video, everyone ran that up. It was a success. So I said I'm gonna do a Journey World Tour. So UK is on the tour. So I went back again the second time back to the UK. And every time I'm out there, it's just like I'm always networking, and it just keeps bringing me back. Cause it's like, okay, I got shit to do, like, here now too. So I'm loving it out there, like, just networking, the opportunities. Like I go out there, the radios are playing me, I'm doing shows out there. Shooting music videos out there, just having fun. Like, I didn't miss Toronto one bit, to be honest. Yeah.
Nah, I hear that still. I hear that. So do you feel like, you got more love out there than you do get at home?
Of course. Like, from once they hear the accent, it's like, it's the accent for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just love it. I feel like being from Toronto, definitely we're taken, granted for, until like maybe Drake reposts you, like most people ain't gonna like really pay attention to you. So when I'm out there, as I said, it's like, as soon as they hear the accent, it's like, they already wanna like, they wanna vibe with you. They wanna chill. Like I'm shooting a music video and people just like running in. Like I feel like if you shoot a video here, well, I did actually just shoot a video last weekend, and I'm downtown and I'm shooting a video, and like everyone just walking by as normal. They look, just walk by normal. But in the UK, people are like, yo, can I be in it? What's your Instagram? Yo, put your Instagram. Like they're excited.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I did build a good fan base out there too now as well. And that's like the best part about traveling, is that you just keep building a fan base.
For sure. And I feel like the more you show your face out there, the more that fan base grows and kind of grows with your music. So that's a lovely thing still. What are some of the differences that you notice between that UK scene and the scene out here? What can we learn from that scene?
They have a platform. They have like a music platform, like for example, like radio stations, a music channel. Like you can watch music videos on TV. Like we don't have much music anymore. Was it Rap City before?
That
we used to have?
I don't even know.
Yeah, we used to have some stuff on 29. I think it was Rap City. Then we had Much Music where you could watch rap videos. We don't have these platforms anymore in Toronto. And even like a radio station for artists to be played, like Flow is not Flow anymore. And even Flow was only playing local artists between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. That's not really exposure. Like people are not listening to the radio at that time. Like especially not from, I think it was Sunday to Thursday. They're not playing you on the weekend, and they're not playing you in the day. So I feel like Toronto definitely doesn't have that platform or support.
But do you feel like those platforms are necessary? Because like when I look at the States and even the UK, like the UK has Grime Daily, they have Link Up TV, they still have BBC Extra that's
Yep.
running shit out there. But they have these like, small independent online platforms that are pushing their music. So do you feel like, now the wave is not really towards the radio and the TV? Do you think that it's more towards the online, platforms that are kind of doing their thing?
I think it's a mixture. I still feel like the UK, like, as I said, like if I'm just hanging out at home and I put on the TV, at least there's an opportunity for a music video to be played. Compared to here, there is no opportunity for that. You gotta depend on the small independent online radio stations, or depend on 6 Buzz or 1210 Daily to post you. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on. We need to do better. We need a better platform.
Nah, you're definitely right. I feel like there's room for both type of platforms. You know what I mean? Because they have a different audience that you definitely want to tap into as well. So I totally agree with you. So let's talk about labels, being signed to a label versus being independent. Which do you prefer and why?
Definitely independent. I like just being in control of my craft. I feel like, especially when you sign to a label, they kind of take the control over. Then let's not even get into royalties and the money part. Like I don't feel like when people think they're getting signed, it's like they think they're hitting the lottery, and it's not. It's clearly not that. You're taking a loan because you're gonna have to pay it back. And if your project doesn't do good, they're gonna give you another loan to try to push either your project or a new project. And if that doesn't do good, then you're in debt at this point. So, I prefer to just stay independent, build my organic fan base, and sell my music on my own. Like eventually I want to not even have my music on Spotify and Apple Music and these platforms, because once again, they're paying artists pennies for like a million streams on Spotify, I think is about like 4-5 racks Canadian. If I sold 1 million copies of that song on my website for $1 for 50 cents, how much is that? Like 500,000 or 1 million, right? You get what I'm saying? So eventually I do want to get away from these platforms, because I do think they're using artists a lot. I do think so. They're making a lot. Like everyone pays $20-something for a subscription, or Apple Music, they pay $10 a month. And then as soon as your subscription stops, all your music that you added to your library is gone. So people are not buying your music, they're not buying your albums, and they're not like realizing like look at Elvis and Michael Jackson. If you have those old vinyls, like those are gold. So I feel like people are losing the value of music when it comes to like Spotify, Apple Music. Like it's just gonna come and go. You know what I mean? Instead of people actually physically buying your song, buying your album, and have it forever as like what's that word? Not an antique, but like, like it should have value. It should mean something to the listeners. I want you guys to feel like you have a piece of gold. Like you might have paid $1 for it now, but hey, Benzito might be the next bigger star than Drake, and you have my original album, like that you paid for $1. That's going to be worth maybe 100 now or whatever. Because if I don't have my music on Spotify and only you have that copy of my song, then it's only like one of one, and that's when it gets back to NFTs and things like that. I like the NFT idea, because that's where the value comes into. Like
for sure. So just to play devil's advocate, the label also pushes your music and your image to an audience that you might not be able to tap in as an independent artist. You know what I mean? So would you rather be independent and risk not ever blowing up, or risk just having a small audience that, listens to your music? Or would you hop on that label and then have them give you that outreach to a wider audience?
Um,
Because ideally, what people usually do, I seen Russ do this, and I seen, Nipsey also do something a little different, where they get on the label, and then once the contract is up, since the label gave them all that marketing dollars for when they were signed, they're known to a wider audience. You know what I mean? They might not get that label push anymore, but they have global appeal due to the fact that they were previously signed on a label. And then
Yeah.
alternatively, I seen Nipsey Hussle do the independent thing, made sure he had leverage, and then sign a deal. So is that a route that you're willing to explore?
it's risky because I feel like even Tory Lanez kind of said that's what he did. He said he got onto Interscope, he got the connections because he knew once his contract was done, he had a connection and he wanted to finesse. But like as I said, where is Tory? Like where's the music? Like he's putting out lots of music, but if you're not tuning in, then it's just like where is that fan base that the label did grow for you when you had at the time you had your biggest hits on the radio. So where is that fan base? Like it kind of just disappears, the fan base. So that's why like I'm saying it's risky. Like, should I sign with them? And then when I don't sign with them, am I like the fan base that I thought was there? Like is it still gonna be there? Another thing too is like, even if you have a hit single, let's say you have a hit single with the label, it's not always because of the label. It could have been that you just had a hit song. So if you did it on your own, you could have, there's a chance you could have made it too.
No, I
Without
totally
the
hear
label.
that. Yeah, I totally hear that. I totally hear that. So like, let's wrap things up. As an artist, what's the kind of legacy that you're trying to leave? And what's some things that you're currently working on and you want people to kind of tap in and listen to?
As of right now, I just released my album, so I'm pushing that right now. I want everyone to tap in if you haven't tapped into that. Moonchild, there's 14 brand new tracks. I also, dropped a few new singles. When I was out in the UK, I did some drill songs, so I have 2 collabs I just dropped. Lots of new music, especially summertime, like just lots of new music's gonna be coming on the way. As of right now, you can find my music everywhere: YouTube, Spotify, Tidal. Yeah, like,
So, I just wanted to let you know we appreciate you coming through. We look forward to, more music. And as you continue to put out projects, hopefully you can come back, tap in with us and, talk about whatever you're working on. All right?
yeah, most def.